Hi there, beautiful souls. It's Sadhana. Good morning. And I'm here with day 20 of the 31 Days of Tarot 2019. And thanks for Anthony for putting up this challenge. I'm a little bit kind of behind the loop, but that's okay. I'm going to stick with it and answer all the questions. So today's question, day 20, is about my favorite tarot spread. And to tell you the truth, I've really let my tarot spreads get kind of fluid. I found recently that reading with fixed positions and I don't know, it's just depending on what's happening in a reading, especially if it's a client that I'm new with, it's really important to be fluid. And so yeah, so I've been working with 9-card readings for a while, and I used to have set meanings. So sometimes the corners were elements, sometimes they were seasons. And for sure I looked at, I look at past, present, future, mind, body, spirit, that kind of stuff. But I've really kind of let the readings just kind of flow. And that has really worked well for me. So this is an enormous deck. This is the Everyday Enchantment Tarot by Polly. No, sorry, that's wrong. Polly, that's not her name. I've got the P's backwards. PP, her initials are PP. Yeah, so this deck is new to me. It's kind of sticky this morning here. Let's do another riffle shuffle. And so I thought I would just do a 9-card just kind of for the tarot community. And I may actually do one with another deck as well too. Kind of just depends on the timing and what comes up here. So riffle shuffling this deck doesn't feel, it brings awareness to the card stock quality, which is not great. All right, so let's cut the deck, and we're gonna do a general tarot reading for the tarot community and my friends, subscribers on Facebook. What is it? This one really, and I always go by the weight of the ease of the break. This one definitely broke really easily, cut really easily. Sometimes I actually place my hand over the decks and I can feel the energy and the pulse, like the pull of the deck. But it broke really easily there, so let's go there. Cut really easily, not broke. First card is always the most important card of the reading, and here we have the 3 of Cups, which really speaks, I will adjust the camera once I get all the cards laid down. So the 3 of Cups, actually last night I was watching Becca Night Owl's video, and she was doing her 1,000 subscribers draw, and it was a live video, and it was so touching just to hear her talking so naturally and being so appreciative of the tarot community. This is really, a reflection of the tarot community, and if you look at this card, they are, really, it's a very joyful card. I think at one point I looked at this card as a little bit gossipy, but I'm not seeing that right now. I think this is kind of confirmation of what many of us feel about the tarot community, and that there is a real bond and there is real relationships among the people in the community. So for a 9 card, I always go above and below, and then I go left and right, and then I go up here to the top left corner, and then around. Okay, so I'm just going to check the camera because I'm not looking at the viewfinder, and we'll just adjust this a little bit so you can, and I do have my, so 9 cards, 9 large cards. Everyday Enchantment Tarot has, why, I don't know. These are such big cards. They don't need to be. If any of you have trimmed your everyday enchantment, let me know. I don't know if that would work with the, it would really take away from the backs of the cards if you did trim them. You would lose the hands, for example. One of the important things for me with a 9 card is that I be fluid. And I have come to a place where I'm not stuck on positions. The most important card is the one in the center, and I will come back to that in a reading time and time again. And then I look above to, often I'll kind of see this as messages from higher self. If I've actually called in guides, or I am doing a mediumship reading, I will kind of look as this as messages from source, or from guides, angels, loved ones on the other side. Down here, this will kind of we'll look at the root of the issue, if there's any issues that need to be, or any blockages. This could be, I don't know, this is really the base of the problem. So this could also be subconscious, stuff that's buried in the subconscious. There's lots of different ways to look at these bottom 3 cards. And then I'm going to look, sometimes cards will pop out like in 3s or 4s. So, you know, sometimes I will take these 3 cards just because for some reason I see they're talking to each other. I think I've zoomed in too much. No, that's okay. Sorry, just checking my camera. So sometimes I'll pull cards to the side that are speaking to me, and just do that. Basically, I have just gotten away from fixed meanings, other than that this is the most important thing. Most important thing. I might look at this as kind of past or recent past, and I might look as this toward the future, but it kind of depends what the question is and how things have, how the conversation has gone with the querent, if the querent is present, or anything that I already know about past readings from reading with this person. But this reading is for you, my friends in the tarot community, and so let's have a look at this. Well, it's always nice to have majors in a reading, because it just brings some importance to the reading, and to know that you really needed to be here, and today was a really good day to be present and to have a reading. So as you can see in this deck, the majors are in black, and we have 3 majors, so it makes them really easy to identify. 2 of them are in the center line, so that's kind of important. They're on either side of the most important card, the tower below, and the world above, and the tower below. So, you know, this kind of tells me that, you know, to get to this place of community, for all of us to kind of get to this place of comfort. I mean, we've also got community up here as well too. I think a lot of people in the tarot community have been through hell and back. Their lives have been rattled in ways that, I don't know, it just feels like whether I go to a mediumship workshop and meet new people working with that, or it seems that people that do this kind of work really have had some major crises in their lives, and that I think it's really important, you know, to recognize that, and that we have perhaps this pattern that we wanted to work through. If we look at across the bottom, we have Sun in Tower, and we have 5 of Coins. So 5 of Coins is also not an easy card. So we have these 2 challenging cards here. You know, in this deck, this really looks like excessiveness. It looks like, you know, a lack of appreciation. She's not acknowledging the people that are outside the window. There's somebody standing here, it looks like they have a beer. And, you know, these people are kind of almost pounding on the window, wanting to come in. And, you know, this really is it's a really ugly 5 of Pentacles. You know, if this is our reality, or your reality, or my reality, this is really, you know, a time to do a check. if we are looking to the left, we have the Sun card, but the Sun card, she's facing, you know, towards the past. So the foundation of kind of where we are now, you know, there has been a lot of really hard challenges, and it may have been, whether it was, you know, the Pentacles, of course, represents, you know, earthly wealth and earthly material. And this card in particular looks to material acquisition, you know, and focusing on that, being too much consumed with material wealth, you know, or too much with, I don't know, just staying attached. You know, this is also about grasping, right? So we can also look at heart chakra stuff, because there's this, I'm getting this message about grasping. And so this shake-up, this rattling of our reality, of our situation, may very well have had to do with this sense of attachment and grasping. And that, you know, we actually turned away from our happiness. And, you know, for us, for those of us in the, you know, doing this kind of work, sometimes we, you know, we choose the more difficult ways. And that's really, really too bad. But on the other side, to have the Sun card in the foundation, it kind of lightens up these two cards. So we'll come back to this, all right? And I'm also going to look here. We've got the Eight of Cups too, right? So we have kind of very challenging cards ahead if we're looking ahead toward this. But there's something about this foundation. So kind of take that message if any of that resonates with you. On either side of the card in the center, so if we want to look at recent past, we have Nine of Wands, and then we have Ten of Wands. So when I see two cards in sequence, I always kind of think, okay, regardless of what the cards are, there is a sense of movement here. There's a sense of movement forward. There's a sense of progress, which is really nice. These are the only two wands in the reading. And so we'll just kind of look at that. As far as, you know, we don't have any other, a court card or lower wands. So we just kind of look at this as, okay, there's a little bit of progress here if we're looking from recent past to recent future, but this is a bit of chaos. So there is a sense of, while we are in this community, while we are, you know, really kind of enjoying, embracing this community, when we step away from YouTube, when we step away from our Facebook pages where we connect, there is we're kind of overwhelmed. It's almost like we're not able to function outside of, you know, when we connect. So this might be a time, you know, we're still in the energy of the new moon of February, and this message to me looks like we really need to kind of focus on what's important here. There's something definitely that needs to be let go of, because this is way too much chaos surrounding the center card, okay? And so if you are doing some journaling over the next, you know, the next day, really, really important. Usually letting go is kind of energy of full moon, but there is something really that we need to identify, either as a community or individually, that is, it's like enough already. And it may just be simple as choosing to be in, you know, it's like we come to our YouTube friends, we come to our YouTube channel, we have this really beautiful connection, okay? And then we turn off the laptop and then all hell breaks loose. Why are we letting that happen? And, you know, this is really, it's just too much. It's overwhelming. So stop it. Stop it, stop it. Choose to find this kind of energy when you turn off, when you step away from YouTube. Okay, and how can you do that? There's a really beautiful card over here in the corner which we need to address. And the Nine of Coins and the Five of Coins, you know, are sitting opposite each other. These are the two, this is actually a very balanced reading. We have two cups, we have two fire, we have two coins. So what element is missing, right? We have no swords, so we also need to address the absence of swords here. But that's actually, I think, for who this reading is for, that's really a good thing, because, you know, it means we're just not overthinking things. We're not too much in the mind. But the other, you know, the other suits are quite in balance here. But do keep that in mind, that there are no swords, and in this deck they're called blades in this reading. So yeah, so that's kind of what I do when I go through, and I just want to address this one. So we have 5 of cups, sorry, 5 of coins and 9 of coins on opposing corners, and then we can also look at these opposing corners and how they talk to each other. So if these are messages from our higher self, and these are kind of the place that our higher self wants to be and wants to get to, and these are the things that we know, you know, intuitively that we need to embrace, then there's work to be done, you know, to kind of get there. But these are really nice reminders that we have the, I mean, just look at her. She is so comfortable, and she is really, I use the word ease a lot when we get these kind of cards, but she is at ease in her environment. However, just like the Sun card below, she is looking away. She's looking to the past, right? She's not here in the present. So this card, you know, if it were here, this would, to me, would be a much more positive card in this position here. And same with the 9 of Wands. The 9 of Wands is kind of entering into the chaos, right? It's not leaving the reading. I find that doing a 9 card is just, there's so much flexibility, and you can talk for a long time. there's lots of different interactions you can look at. You could take away all of the minors, and you could just look, you know, at the 3 majors that are here, and kind of leave them in the same position that they were, and just look at how those are playing out, right? So we have 3 cards that are very near the end of the major arcana, and they are, you know, 2 very positive cards, and 1 card that is, you know, the Tower card is so necessary, right? We need somebody to rattle us up from our being over comfortable. If we're looking at this card was in the past, and we've turned away from our happiness, that in order to get, you know, in order to make that final kind of, what's the word? Final surge toward, you know, completing what it is that we're currently working on right now. Sorry, the sun is shining in, but it's so beautiful. Oh my goodness, lovely. That we needed something to rattle us up. And so whatever that was that rattled us up, you know, to get us back onto our path, this card is very much about getting us back onto our path. It was completely necessary. So yeah, so that's kind of what I do with a 9 card. And I thought that I would just take one more deck and give you another example, if that's okay with you. So that was the Everyday Enchantment Tarot. This is the White Sage Tarot. And if you're not familiar with this deck, it's by Teresa Hutch, whitesagetarot.com. So this is quite a gentle deck. It has a, I'm just going to smudge this deck. I haven't used it for a while. I haven't had it that long, actually. So I guess that, you know, the biggest thing I wanted to share was that I've really gotten away from fixed positions. And even if I do Celtic Cross or, you know, a more traditional spread, I still move cards around, and I'm not so attached to the positions and what they mean. And if I do a Celtic Cross and I see certain things need to be addressed I just move the cards around. Oh, so let's do a Celtic cross. Okay, this is not really the kind of deck that I would do a Celtic cross with because it's a very non-traditional deck, but let's just do it and I'll show you what I mean. I think I just need the readings to be more fluid and trusting the kind of messages that I see. Of course, looking at traditional fixed meanings, but, you know, sometimes we have to look at color. Like this is a deck that has ribbons on, I think, all the minors. I'm not sure if on the majors too. And so they're related to chakra and issues related to the chakras. Okay. So let's just, whoa, okay. There we go. Right near the top of the deck. So question, I didn't ask a question. Sorry, I have to reshuffle. I really find that it's really important to ask a question. Just doing a demo is very hard because then I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. Yeah. So I also want to say thank you to Becca for that honest, I don't know, I really enjoyed that last night. Her sharing about the tarot community. All right. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I'll do something personal. Okay, so I'm going through a bit of a shift in my life right now. I have made some lifestyle changes, and I guess I want to look at if there's anything else that I have missed in regards to these lifestyle changes. And if my, I think I finally had my aha moment, and I figured about a pattern. So one of my patterns has become abundantly clear. I have released it, and I actually think I've made a connection. And I could have, you know, if I were at a different place, I think when I was 13 years old, sorry, the battery died. When I was 13 years old, if I was at a different place, I could have shifted this pattern. So what I want to know is if I'm not correct is such a weird word, but I want to know if I've kind of got this right. That's what I want to know. And if there's anything that I have missed in identifying and finally figuring out this pattern. Okay. So there we go. So those did not break as clearly. There was a bit of a, like a, with the deck. So then usually I will go with my hands. So this was the top card. So I'm almost never going to choose this pile. It's going to be this pile or this pile. So now, like my index finger right now is going, and that pile's kind of cold. So that's why I would choose this pile. Sometimes I'll pull up my pendulum too, because that will help me to do that. So the most important card right now is the Ten of Pentacles. So that's pretty cool, right? So here we have the rainbow. All the colors are represented. You know, this is a really positive card. So I guess that's a yes answer to my question. And so that's really nice. Above we have the Page of Swords. The Ten of Wands is below, and then we have the King of Cups and the Page of Wands. So 3 quarts, 7 of Cups, the Hierophant, 7 of Swords, and the Queen of Cups. Wow, lots of court cards, 4 court cards. Okay, center card, most important card. And don't lose sight of that, whether you're doing a reading for yourself or somebody else. And like I said, Ten of Pentacles, basically a positive yes answer. We have King of Cups, Page of Wands, Queen of Cups. All right, 3 court cards. So these are, so yeah, mature, more mature characters here, younger younger energy here, and another page here. I've been really intrigued with pages lately. Pages in that I appreciate their exuberance and their energy and their sassiness. And drawing 2 pages here for me kind of says to me that, yes, sadhana, like this is definitely moving forward. You are going forward. So you've got 2 of them were mature court cards on the past, emotional ones, right? I mean, of course, they're masters of their emotion and, you know, intuition and that kind of stuff. But to have the older courts here and the younger courts here, for me, that is positive. That is, you know, kind of getting out of the drudgery and actually feeling a sense of lightness and moving forward. So that's not normally how I look at courts, but for me and my situation, it's a sense of release. Also, this 7 of Cups, this delusion to be, you know, on the left side of the reading is like, yes, okay, this means that I have figured this out. And that also, remember I said that these top cards are kind of like higher self. So my higher self is recognizing that as well too. So that's really a nice thing to see. And then over here I have the Hierophant. So this is also a reminder that Swamiji is with me. My teachers are with me. My inner teacher is with me, and I need to trust in that, right? So the key to continuing moving forward for me is to, you know, stay with all those teachings that I have. So I have a really strong yogic foundation. I'm a Jignas in the Satyananda lineage. That's where I got my name Sadhana from. And when I tend to stray away from my practices, my yogic practices, my mantra practice, and the other, you know, my pranayama and that kind of things, when I tend to stray away from those teachings, my life tends to go toward chaos. And so just knowing, you know, this is kind of like Swamiji is here, and that's really nice, and I like that. So I've got the delusion kind of behind me. I've got a sense of youthfulness here, and then I've got, you know, this wisdom and this support. And then down below I have 7 of Swords, 10 of Wands, and Queen of Cups. So let's just look at these 2, right? So this is a tremendous amount of burden. We have a 10 and a 10. And, you know, normally I would address this, but I want to do this quite quick. So, you know, this is also represents 2 10s, makes, you know, this is the end of a cycle. And yes, suddenly you are moving forward, and you are moving, you know, to bigger and brighter places. The burden, the burden that I had put on myself from staying in that horrible pattern, right? You know, that was the root of a lot of problems, like physical problems, mental problems, financial problems. And I need to be aware of that. Having the 7 of Swords here is really, it's really important, because, you know, if this is a card of trickery, if this is a card of deception, it's also got the Manipura chakra coloring here, which kind of sticks out to me. And that is really, really important, because Manipura chakra, you know, the issue is about my will versus, one of the issues of this chakra is about my will versus thy will, and really kind of stepping into a place of trust. This is where I need to go. This is my trust. This is trust, you know, always coming back to the teachings that I have. But there is some kind of, like, if I was, remember I said how I pull cards out? I would pull out this card, and this card, and really kind of look at, we have a 7, these 7s, right, on the corners here, very much a part of this burden and this delusion, you know, that I created for myself, and this staying in my pattern for such a long time. If I have got this right, and if I've been in this pattern since I was, or if this was one of the patterns that I wanted to work through in this lifetime, and I I could have figured it out when I was 13, but I wasn't clever enough. You know, that's a long time. I'm in my, how old am I? 57. Yeah, that's a long time to not figure something out. So, yeah, good on me. Good on me for getting there. This also says to me that I need to, these two cards especially, it reminds me that I can easily slip back into my pattern, and I will have to be very mindful of it. I'm going to have to stay with my practices. I'm going to have to really, you know, be conscientious about continuing to move forward. Anyway, so the purpose of this question was, what is your favorite spread at this time? And for me, it is the 9 card. Why the 9 card? Because the 9 card is so flexible. And if you go into it without fixed positions, then there is an infinite number of possible combinations, an infinite number, you know, just ways to read it. And just giving you a taste of this morning, I hope that has been of some help to you. Okay, and the next question is about mediumship and readings. Do I use, if I'm doing a tarot reading, do I use, do I combine mediumship and tarot? And the answer is yes, very much so. If I'm doing a mediumship reading, I will intentionally call in the people that they are looking. I will probably have already been picking up on energy, and when I pick up on energy, I can feel it right away, usually on my right side, usually my right ear, and I will take the querent through a guided meditation, and I'll be just listening very carefully as I go through that. Actually, I do a lot of guided meditation just to kind of transition the querent into a higher vibration, and just to kind of leave the outside world behind. That's funny. There we go. Yes, that's yes. I use mediumship all the time. The cards. So then what's my next step? So my next step is then to ask that my words be a channel for the messages, and also that the cards be a channel for the messages. So I have this little routine that I do, and that's what I say. And if, for example, I was doing a 9 card, let's just, this card kind of jumped out, so I'm just going to leave that there. So I do my 9 card, and I lay it out. So this is actually a really good teaching moment here. We have the 3 of Swords on the bottom, and I find that when people are coming for mediumship readings, they are usually very much in pain. And interesting that that would show up when I'm doing this question. And then I place the cards around. And right away I'm going to, okay, so Mom is here. This is going to be a message from Mom. Earlier I said in the 9 card, I look at the upper cards as the cards from Spirit, the cards from our higher selves. And so if there is a court card here, this card came out, so this is kind of a definite message that there will be messages through Spirit. So I'm going to look to the cards up here as the message from Spirit, and that's usually what I do. We've also got the ether here, which is really nice in a sense of, so, you know, ether is represented. You know, this is another thing with this deck. It's a deck I did a review of yesterday too. It was a Gaian tarot. And so for me, being a yoga instructor teaching meditation, there's a difference between the element of air, which is the heart chakra, and the element of ether, which is the throat chakra, and what the element of ether represents and what the element of air represents. And I find in a lot of decks there is quite a crossover between ether and air. And this is one of them because incense is the element of ether. And that may be a personal, inquiry that I need to do some more work on. And that is having a look at the element of air and ether, because it's been coming up for me a lot, and kind of learning and discriminating between that. I'm preparing to do a video on the manga tarot, which is something I've been kind of studying the last few weeks, and looking at the Tree of Life, the Kabbalah, and where the chakras fit into the Tree of Life. And there are two different schools of thought. So the throat chakra is not actually on one of the points of the tree. It's actually in a space in between, which totally makes sense, right? Because the throat chakra is the element of ether. It's in between. It's not fixed to a point. And that makes perfect sense. When we think of throat chakra, we think of voice, we think of communication, which is what the swords represent here. But that's got nothing to do with the question. The question was, do I combine tarot and mediumship? And yes, I do, very, very much. I look at, again, if I was doing a mediumship reading, this would kind of be the root of the why you came to the reading. This is what you need to know, and are you aware of this? Or is this very much at a subconscious level? This would be the main issue, and these would be kind of the messages from Spirit. So I hope you have enjoyed the video this morning, and I look forward to reading your comments below. I love your feedback. It's really, really important. I'm still very new at making these videos, and it is... it really is my pleasure, and also I wanted to reiterate what Becca Nidal said last night, and that I'm very touched by almost the intimacy of the tarot community. I will leave you with that, and stay well, my friends. Namaste.